I personally love the Nintendo Switch, and obviously that means I love the games that come alongside it, especially the ones made by Nintendo. I mean, I love Nintendo. They make so many amazing games that you wouldn't see other companies make. However, everyone's got to admit that no games are perfect, so obviously Nintendo games are far from perfect as well. And since this is a Switch-oriented channel, and it's still relatively early in the Switch's lifespan, so not too many games have come out for the platform, I would like to talk about all of Nintendo's Switch games and say one thing bad about every single one of them. I think it would be interesting to look at these games that we hold in such high regard, like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey, and find at least one negative thing about all of them, and then maybe look at them all combined and see if there are any patterns or something like that. Now, I can't take all the credit for this idea because actually this is kind of something I've seen recently in the Pokemon community, especially on Twitter. A lot of people have just been saying things about like say one thing about their least favorite generation, or say one thing about every generation that they don't like, and I've been thinking that's really interesting. Especially, I gotta point out a video by the YouTube channel JPR Pokemon Trainer 98. It'll be linked in the description. Basically, they did exactly what I'm about to do, but for like Pokemon generations, and that video was really interesting and really good, so I figured I could make one about Nintendo Switch games and see if I could make it relatively interesting. So yeah, that video will be linked in the description, and thanks to JPR Pokemon Trainer and pretty much all of the Pokemon community for kind of helping inspire this video. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Quick disclaimer, obviously, if you have a Nintendo Switch, you most likely have one or multiple or all of these games. So, I love these games too. Do not think that just because I'm saying one thing bad about them, I don't like the game. The video title is literally like saying one thing bad about all Nintendo Switch games for a reason, because that's what I'm gonna do. So don't just dislike if I said something that you don't like about one of your favorite games. Anyway, let's get into the video, and this will be in chronological order, obviously, in case you couldn't tell that. Breath of the Wild. I wish I could say the DLC, because, honestly, the DLC never really compelled me. The second pack definitely looked pretty cool, but the first pack was kind of like lackluster, and the second pack I heard was kind of lackluster as well. So overall, I never really got compelled to buy it. However, DLC isn't part of the main game, so I'm not even going to count that. So yeah, just DLC is out. I guess I should have said that at the beginning. But yeah, I don't know. So for Breath of the Wild, the first thing bad I'd say about it is inventory management. Unfortunately, Nintendo was so close to making the perfect open world experience. But one thing I don't like about any open world game, and I know a lot of other people agree with me in this, is inventory management. And obviously you shouldn't have infinite inventory space. That's just broken. It doesn't work like that. Especially when you have a mechanic like Breath of the Wild's breaking swords and breaking weapons. Obviously you can't have unlimited inventory space. However, what you should at least be able to have is to be able to max out your inventory space so you can carry one of every clothing article, because I was planning on 100%ing Breath of the Wild. I put a ton of time into it because this was before Mario Kart 8 came out, and I wanted to play my Switch, so I was planning on 100%ing Breath of the Wild. Then I saw a video all the way back then, so I don't know who it was by, of someone saying that you can't really 100% Breath of the Wild. Obviously you can technically do it and it'll say 100% on the map or whatever, but Nintendo does not give you enough inventory slots to hold one of every single item of clothing. And because clothing you can actually upgrade, you need every one to kind of like prove that you've upgraded every one, because you need to have it so you can show, oh, I've upgraded it. And then I was just like, why even bother if I'm not even going to be able to hold them all? It's just mind-boggling. And they had extra Korok seeds too. If you don't know how that whole upgrading system worked, you would talk to this one guy, Hestu, and trade him your Korok seeds for more inventory slots. And then once you got to like trading in 400 Korok seeds or something, you couldn't trade in anymore. That was it. If they just let you trade in like a couple more times, you would be able to max out your inventory, and this open world game would really feel open world, and you wouldn't be confined to your limits, but in this you are. Also, the inventory process is just kind of, I don't know, it felt kind of cheating. Like, you literally paused time, ate a ton of food, and then went back in. Like, how would you feel if you were fighting a boss, and then, like, in a split second, this boss just refilled their health, and you're like, what the hell just happened? And then the boss is like, oh, I paused the game and ate a ton of food. Like, I don't know, it just kind of feels like cheating. Anyway, yeah, the interface in that game, and specifically the inventory, is what really bugged me, and that's one thing I didn't like about Breath of the Wild. Moving on to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I'm realizing I'm gonna have to make these a lot faster, and I'm sure a ton of people have already clicked off anyway, because that first one was way too long. But anyway, now I'm rambling, and it's getting way too long again. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I want DLC for this game so bad, but obviously, you know, you can't really get mad at a game for not having DLC, so I'm just gonna have to go with the fact that they had no new tracks. Obviously, they spent a lot of time on the battle mode, as that was the main feature, and I love the battle mode. I played a ton of it with my friend Aiden, but unfortunately, just like, no new tracks? You're kidding me. They made 4 new cups, 4 for the DLC in the first game, but then in the second one, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they didn't even add any new racetracks. That's just, I mean, come on. They could have even just remastered old tracks. I'd be fine with that. Like, seeing tracks like Maple Tree Way, Waluigi's Pinball, so many tracks could have been remastered and everyone would have loved it. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. And while we did get awesome battle tracks, they were pretty much mostly just either remasters or reskins of old, like Mario Kart 8, like the Dragon Palace one reskinned from Dragon Driftway. Like, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So yeah, no new tracks was one thing I was really disappointed in for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Moving into what I believe was the next big game, ARMS. However, ARMS didn't really end up being that popular, and I've got to attribute that to the lack of single-player content. Obviously, online is great, and that's awesome, but I feel like in Splatoon's case, they knew that online wasn't the only thing. Like, online couldn't carry that game. Online can't really carry any game unless it's like a Call of Duty situation where the series has, like, kind of just given up on single player. Anyway, with ARMS, it was a great new chance to dive into this brilliant, vibrant world that they had created. And we saw glimpses into that world with characters and stuff like that. But there was no single player mode. There was this Grand Prix mode, which technically you played it in single player, but it was not like a story adventure mode. Like, everything was just battles. It was just battle, 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 and then occasionally you'd get a mini game, but just give us something. Like, the Mario Tennis Aces had its own, like, story mode where you would go to different places. Like, there was an actual story. In ARMS Grand Prix, you just fight 10 people, fight the boss, which was Max Brass, and then, depending on your difficulty, you just win there. If not, you fight against a bigger boss, but it's never changes. It's always the same, and that's, I think, what killed that game, because after you get bored of the base punching game, what's gonna keep you there? Volleyball? I don't think so, and because the single player was also the base punching, just normal ARMS fighting, it really got repetitive for a lot of players, including myself, pretty fast. Splatoon 2. This is probably my favorite game on the Switch. It's definitely the one I've spent the most time into, and I think it gives you the most bang for your buck if you're buying a Switch. However, Nintendo does not get online. While it is an improvement over the first one, Nintendo still does not get how to do voice chat because it's relegated to a phone. They do not get how to do a paid online service, as it's been delayed numerous times, and now it's coming out in September and we still know nothing about it. They do not have reliable servers. I get communication errors very frequently, even though other Switch games work perfectly fine. Salmon Run isn't open all the time. I know that was a big deal at launch, but then it kind of drizzled away, and I was one of the people who thought it wouldn't be a big deal. It's not, but Nintendo just, it seems like with Splatoon, they just have such a great franchise, but then just kind of throw just random stuff in it and prohibit us from enjoying it to its fullest potential. Like, why is voice chat relegated to the app still? Why can you not skip the Squid Sisters? Because they come on every time you start the game. So, for the one thing I don't like about Splatoon 2, I was going to say, like, just Nintendo doesn't get internet, but I've just got to say the stupid stuff. Because Nintendo, I love Splatoon 2, but the stupid stuff. There is so much stupid stuff with this game. And that is the thing that I hate most about Splatoon 2. Jumping into Mario Odyssey, because the next two games are Mario + Rabbids, which isn't made by Nintendo, and Fire Emblem Warriors, which once again isn't made by Nintendo, and I never really played it. Mario Odyssey. I love this game. Mario Odyssey is a amazing game. However, something that really disappointed me with this game was the multiplayer. First of all, let me explain where I'm coming from with this. We had Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, and Galaxy 2. Sunshine didn't even have multiplayer. They didn't even try. Supposedly, they were trying a lot during development, and there was even, like, fully modeled, like, things, and you can technically, like, try and get it by hacking. At least this is what I've heard, but obviously it's not in the finished game. Galaxy 1 and 2, they shoehorned in this, like, pointer clicky thing. It was just dumb. It was dumb. It literally just, like, mildly helped, I guess, sometimes. Then, bam, 3D Land and 3D World. It takes the multiplayer from New Super Mario Bros. U and seamlessly puts it into 3D Mario. This is why I love 3D World so much and hold it in a regard as high as Odyssey. Yes, I do. I know that sounds crazy to some of you. I'll probably make a video about this separately. But yeah, I freaking love 3D World, and just because every game, at least in my opinion, gets amplified 10 times when you get to play it with friends. So with Mario Odyssey, I was hoping, dreaming, to get my favorite type of Mario game, which is a 3D open world type, with my favorite type of multiplayer, which is the New Super Mario Bros. 3D World style game multiplayer, combined into one. I mean, it just made sense. Each player could use individual Joy-Cons. The system was definitely powerful enough. It just made sense. And then we saw it. And the multiplayer was just, for those of you who somehow don't know, the multiplayer in Super Mario Odyssey lets the other player control Cappy. And this can be used pretty much more to troll than to actually help. Sure, it can be used in some speedrunning techniques. I'm pretty sure you can use it to complete like a jumpless run or something. But besides that, I really don't think it has any practical uses. I'm sure it can help you a little bit. I don't really know that much. To be honest, I played most of the game through with this actually on because I was playing with my friend Aiden, but we kind of just trolled each other. And it was fun. Trust me, trolling each other is fun, but that's not the type of game that I wanted to play Mario Odyssey as. I wanted it to be an expansive open world co-op game where maybe I could go adventure to one side of the desert and then call Luigi over and Luigi would come and we could help solve a puzzle. But that's not what it was. It was pretty much just Galaxy's multiplayer, but a bit more in-depth. And that's what I hate in Super Mario Odyssey. Moving along, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, never played it, and you wanna know why? It just looks way too damn complicated. It looks like a great game that I want to play, but I do not have the time for a 20-hour RPG, JRPG, whatever it is. And every single review I heard either stated this as a pro or a con, saying it introduced so many new aspects, it was crazy. To me, that's most definitely a con, because if one of the main things of the game is that they introduced so many new things, then to me, I don't know, to me that just sounds like I don't want to learn all this, I don't have time to learn all this. On top of that, it's a huge time commitment. I just don't have time. Yeah, that's pretty much what I don't like about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Kirby Star Allies, too easy. Played the demo, it's just too easy. I played the demo, it was too easy, and then I was like, okay, well, the game's gonna be harder, right? Watched reviews, apparently it wasn't. I don't want to buy a game that I can just breeze through. Gaming for me is always about relaxing, but that is just mindless. Like, just sitting there and moving and then occasionally jumping. For what? Like, what's the point? There isn't one. Kirby Star Allies, in my opinion, too easy. That's one thing I don't like about it. And I think that's it. At least for games made by Nintendo. I'm looking over at my cartridges now, and yeah, I believe those are all the Nintendo games. Obviously, I have many other games like Rayman Legends, Mario Rabbids we were talking about, and I know Mario Tennis Aces just came out, but I'm planning on making a whole new video about that, so I'm not going to include that in this. But yeah, that's one thing I didn't like about every Nintendo Switch game. And that's why it says Nintendo Switch game, because it's Switch games made by Nintendo, not Nintendo. You get the point. Anyway, that's pretty much it. If you like this style of video, then make sure to check out the link in the description for JPR Pokemon Trainers video, and let me know in the comments below. Sorry for the lack of videos, guys. There's an update coming soon, I swear. Yeah, just believe me on that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm Thomas from the Switch Shop, signing off. Peace.